Welcome to Flipped Classroom. Today's lesson is on the Toulmin model, and this is one of the structures you can use in an argument. Let's begin with some key terms. The first one is support, and that is material that the speaker or the writer will use to convince the audience that his or her claim is sound. Support can fall into two categories. The most common is evidence, the data, and that can be in the form of facts or statistics, even testimony from experts. Another type of support has a motivational appeal. It's more emotional, and that's when it appeals to the needs or values held by the audience. So let's take a look at this example. If one person asks, "Why should I wear sunscreen today?" You, as the writer or speaker, would argue, "Look at the evidence. The sun is bright and there's no shade." In addition to the evidence, you could focus on the emotional, motivational appeal by asking, "You don't want wrinkles or skin cancer, do you?" There's an assumption involved in this conversation that too much direct exposure to the sun is bad, so you need protection. Another key term we'll be using is the claim. The claim is the proposition that the author or the speaker is trying to prove. In your essays, it'll usually come in the form of your thesis statement. We're going to be looking at three types of claims in this class. The first one is a claim of fact, and that's when you're looking at a condition exists. For example, a claim of fact would be fast foods are contributing to the obesity epidemic. The next type of claim we'll be looking at are claims of value. This is making an evaluation. It's determining that some things are more desirable than others. For example, Disney films do an excellent job portraying single parents. In essay number 2, your writing assignment will be a claim of value. You'll be evaluating an act of protest. Essay number 4 in this class is going to be a claim of policy. A claim of policy looks at a specific plan to solve a problem. For example, gun purchasing rules should be stricter. In our class, essay number 4 will be a research paper, and it will be looking at policies involving issues of the death penalty and other issues brought up in the book Just Mercy. Another key term is assumptions. An assumption is a belief or principle that the audience accepts to be true. Assumptions enable the audience to come to the same conclusion as the speaker or the writer. In the Toulmin model, I'll be using the word warrants, but it means the same thing as assumptions. So let's take a look at this example. The movie Ghostbusters. There was an original 1980s version and the remake, the 21st century version. So let's pretend that somebody is making the claim that the original Ghostbusters is a better film than the remake. And the claim is supported by the following evidence. Look at the evidence. The original was funnier. In this claim and support is based on the assumption that the audience believes humor is the most important quality to judge a movie. If the audience does not believe humor is the key factor, then this claim will fail. So let's review the three-part structure of the Toulmin argument. There's a claim, support, and assumption, which I'm going to call warrants. For example, if you're claiming smoking advertisements should not be located near schools, and your support is smoking can cause cancer, the assumption is that advertising something that's harmful to a child's health should be banned. The way I just presented you the argument was I started with the claim, followed by support, followed by the assumption. But the good thing about the Toulmin model is that it's flexible. You do not necessarily need to start with the claim, move on to support, and the warrant. Instead, it's very flexible. Sometimes you'll start with support and then follow up with the claim. We'll discuss this more in another video about inductive and deductive reasoning. So let's practice analyzing the Toulmin model. One of your assignments is to read the article in Health, We're Not Number One. So let me go over the different places where you would find the claim, the evidence, and the assumptions. When you're looking at the article in Health, We're Not Number One, you want to go through and annotate the claims of value, the support that you find in the form of testimony from experts, the support you find in the form of statistics and motivational appeal, and that all comes in the first 5 paragraphs. You'll notice as I scroll down, as we get towards the end in paragraph 14, that is where you will see the assumption. So the purpose of reading this article is to practice identifying where you see the Toulmin model used, so you can replicate that in your essay writing. So in review, the Toulmin model involves a claim, a support, and warrants. And it doesn't matter which order they come in, because the Toulmin model is very flexible. Thank you for joining me today in Flipped Classroom.